In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to use the quick selection tool. An example of this would be when you want to choose something that is not exactly square or circular, or if it's slightly different colors and in multiple spots would be a good example of when you would want to do that. So for example, if I wanted to change the colors of the doors if I thought that they were too bright within this picture that I took in New Mexico. Even though I like them bright like that, I would show you how I could desaturate them and make them so that they are a little bit less popping off the page. So using the quick selection tool, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so that I can see what I'm doing. Up at the top here you can either zoom out or zoom in. I need to zoom in a couple of times just so I get close to those doors. And then going back up to my quick selection tool, I'm going to click and drag, and you can see it took most of what I wanted it to. I'm just going to keep adding in a little bit by clicking and dragging out. You're going to notice that there is, on the options bar up here, there is the add to selection, subtracts from selection, and then just the selection itself. So I'm going to keep adding to, but this works the same as your shift and your alt. Every once in a while you have those options on the top there. So I'm going to keep pulling out. If I do this just slowly, because if I make a mistake and I go too far, so I'm going to pull this over so that you can see I went a little too far right there and it bubbled out from it, I can step backwards then and get back to where I was. I can also use a different tool. This doesn't want to stay to the edge very well, so I'm going to add a rectangular marquee tool to it and just make sure that I'm going out enough to get all of that on there. The majority of the marquee tool would work for this one, but it's not exactly square going around it or rectangular, so I'm just going to use it to get a little bit closer selection to what I want to do. Now I'm going to add these in also, so go back to the quick selection, start clicking and dragging. I click every once in a while. This went a little too far, came back, okay. And so there's that one, and then I'm going to add this one in also. Actually, I'm going to take off that little bubble. So I'm going to Alt and take that off of there. Go back to the quick selection, and since I'm still adding on, I don't need to hold my shift key down. You just have to check on the top options bar to make sure you're doing what you want to do. And that took a little too much, so again I'm going to go back up to the rectangular, use my Alt so that I'm taking it away from it, and go to there. And I'm going to do the same on the side here, just to get that little bubble off the side. Okay, now I have them selected. I'm going to fit on screen so that you can see what this is doing. And so under Image again, under Adjustments, I'm going to go here to Hue Saturation, and I am going to take the color all the way out of it. If I do it all the way, it turns it to more black and white. I'm going to let just a little bit of color show by saturating up just a little bit and say OK. And if I deselect that, you can see how that changed that down in the coloring.